earlier this morning, you mentioned China made a threat yesterday.
Yeah.
To the United States, and I'd love to know what that is.
Okay, well, you're going to love it. It may not improve your mood much, but they said that they are now, hang on just a second, I got to get right to it, that they are now special partners and that change with Russia and change is coming. This is according to Z. Change is coming that hasn't happened in over 100 years, and we will drive this change together. They also said that there is a new era, special relationship, and a no-limits friendship between Moscow and Beijing. So that's...
And they went on to specifically talk about a unipolar world,
yeah, they said
right?
they both are fighting against a unipolar world and are for a multipolar world. So they're gathering together basically to defeat us, which is, oh man, that's great.
It was a typical like China bureaucratic speak, but it was pretty clear as far as China goes in saying that they're changing the last century dynamic they don't like so much.
Yes. Now here's something else. Putin also made some threats yesterday. Apparently, the Pentagon is accelerating our Patriot air defense systems and tanks to Ukraine, which Putin doesn't like all that much. And then the UK Minister of State Defense said, we have a real problem with, what Britain is about to do. They're sending in Challenger 2 battle tanks, and they're sending them into Ukraine with armor-piercing rounds, which contains depleted uranium. If this happens, and I'm quoting, Russia will have to respond accordingly, given that the West collectively is already beginning to use weapons with a nuclear component. Okay. Z is sitting next to Putin when he says this. By the way, these shells, they're armor piercing. It's not unusual, from what I understand, to use these shells. That's what Britain uses for bunker busting bombs, depleted uranium. It does hurt the soil around there, and if you were hit by one, if you're hit by one, you're probably going to die. But if you got shrapnel from it, it would have radiation in it. So that's good. Hey, here's another one. Australia came out yesterday and said, we're not going to promise that we'll side with the United States of America should China go into Taiwan. What? Australia is peeling itself from us? Russia yesterday also said, Medvedev said that the ICC, the International Criminal Court, they love it as much as we do. Except we've never said, by the way, if you do issue an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin, we might strike the ICC with a hypersonic missile, which I think would be another war crime, but I don't know. Russia is running out of soldiers. They had prisoners that they had pardoned, and most of them died, but about 20% of them now have served their 6 months and are going home. So you got some really violent criminals that have been pardoned. Oh, and they just came out of war. That tends to stabilize, crazy, dangerous people. So they're going home. They fought for the Wagner Group. Now they don't know what to do. They've already made the enlistment to 65 years old in Russia. And now they're recruiting in high school. So that's good. So here's the problem. China, I believe, before 2025, before the next president is sworn in, you will have a digital currency. I hope I'm wrong on all of these things. You'll have a digital currency. China will be in Taiwan and will be tied up in a major war. I think that is a done deal, because why wouldn't you? If you were China, America is at the tipping point. We are so divided as a nation. Our banking system, the entire West, is just waiting for a little to completely collapse. You have states fighting against states. You have complete unrest at your fingertips all over the West. We learned what Ronald Reagan did to the Soviet Union. Why would we not be doing that to them if it was reversed? Why wouldn't we do that to China? Of course we would. You think that they're not going to do that with us? And look how they've already infiltrated. I got to say, congratulations, Governor Whitmer. You've done a bang-up job. You really have. You know, she's created a whole bunch of new jobs. And I just think this is wonderful. She's funding $715 million, taxpayer dollars, to get this new, I think it's Goiton, maybe Gotion, Goition. I don't know. It's a company that I just love because now it's an American company. And Gretchen Whitmer is spending, Michigan, you should be proud. She's spending your dollars, bringing these people in because they're going to create jobs. They just bought 700 acres of property near Big Rapids. Now, you know, Whitmer might have said, I don't know if we should do business with a Chinese company. And then that would lead to somebody going, no, they're not that bad. I mean, let's look at their bylaws. And if you look at their bylaws and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, they're not, I mean, they're just making widgets or whatever it is that they're going to be making. So they're fine. Except in their articles of association, which is their company's bylaws, Article 9 says the company shall set up a party organization and carry out party activities. Whoa, Party City is going to be raking in the box. They got a party committee. And they have to have party activities. Sounds good until you finish the sentence, in accordance with the Constitution of the Communist Party of China. Then the party committee, not to be confused with cake and balloons, the party committee of the company shall perform its duties in accordance with the Constitution of the Communist Party of China and other party regulations, including ensure and supervise the implementation of the party's guidelines, principles, and policies in the company, and implement major strategic decisions of the CPC, the Communist Party of China, Central Committee, and the State Council as relevant important work arrangements of the party organization at the higher level. Okay, but here's a really great part that I think Governor Whitmer, I mean, I've spoken out against you, honestly. I thought you were a crazy tyrant or dictator that really didn't have the best interest of the people in Michigan at heart. But now that I read this, the corporate document also states the company's party committee shall, and I'm quoting, strengthen the construction of party organization and party members at the grassroots level and oversee growing the Communist Youth League and mass work of the company. I now think you actually might be a traitor, or you're completely incompetent. How did the governor just do a deal with taxpayer money to sell land and help a Chinese company develop their youth program, their communist youth program. Oh, do you think anybody would say anything if down south somebody made a deal and part of their bylaws was to make sure you develop that Hitler youth program? Yeah, I think people would have a cow. This is the same thing, except it's Stalin, it's Mao, it's not Hitler. Mao and Stalin killed a lot more people. You should remember that. You have to ask yourself, do they just have a really bad batting average? Because I don't think they do. They're batting what? Almost zero. Okay? Almost zero. Let's say they have a batting average of
100.
100. Mm-hmm. Okay. They have a batting average of 100. However, if I switch teams, they have a batting average of 600. Right? Isn't it 700 batting average is perfect?
No.
What is it?
1,000.
1,000. Yeah. So 900. Mm-hmm. 900. Mm-hmm. Their batting average is good if they're playing for the other team.
Right.
Wait, at what point do we have the balls to say, I think they're playing for the other team?
Just hard to believe all of these things could be mistakes, I think is what you're saying. And it does, seem difficult to be this bad at things.
We now know because we've seen the satellite pictures or we've seen the fighter pictures of the navigation system on the balloon, because it was just such a coincidence that they had no control over where that balloon went. But it went over all of our most important strategic missile sites, then Strategic Air Command, and then exited the country, right there in South Carolina, which, gosh, don't they have a lot of military stuff? That tricky jet stream. Or somebody's playing on the other side. Back in a minute.